Hey, peace world. Checking in with some bite down boxing talk. My name is Wood. I'm out here in the middle of cutting my yard. And, the fight last night, shout out to Tank Davis for another win. Gets the stoppage against Romero. Um, 6 round knockout. Honestly, I didn't even talk about this fight during the week. I told you a couple of months ago when it was announced, I wasn't paying. You can't get my money. I can't spend my money on a B-side in Romero or Orlando Romero. I'm sorry. You just got to do better. Uh, Even the rest of the card, I saw Iris Landy Lara was on there. Okay, whatever. But what I don't understand is, the criticism. The criticism and fans say anything, man. People say anything and complain about anything and everything, so on and so forth. But I'm seeing in some of the threads uh, that Gervonta Davis he ran, and I'm just like, how can you know so much about boxing? How can you be such an avid fan or an expert? How can you know all of this stuff about boxing and not know it was gonna happen before the fight happened? Why on earth with all the fouling, the elbows, and the bullshit, and as crude a boxer as Rolly Romero is, why would you sit there and try to box him straight up? For people to come out here and have these types of expectations that Tank was supposed to go in there and go to war with a guy that he's more talented than, how do you just take away the fact that the team and the trainer, Calvin Ford, that they put together a game plan that guarantees their success, gets the outcome that they want, and you take as little damage as possible? Were you complaining when Amir Khan won a bunch of rounds against Canelo Alvarez? And then Canelo Alvarez just flattened his ass when he saw the opening for what he wanted to do. We can go back to Canelo when the fight was really close with him and a pretty shot Sergey Kovalev. And Kovalev was in that fight going into the 11th round, I believe, just with his jab. Sorry, a lazier jab at that. And then Canelo struck and ended the fight. So here are you complaining about Canelo for being beat, for being outboxed by an Amir Khan or a shot Sergey Kovalev? Sometimes the fighters and the team and the coaches know what the hell they're doing, and you really just a fan. You really just an observer. Sometimes. We even see in basketball with Golden State. They didn't get the sweep against Dallas. I think they got blown out that game, maybe. Again, are we going to complain about that? At some point in time, you're like, look, we just don't have it tonight. We get back to San Francisco and beat these dudes on our home floor. No big deal. I mean, you're just not going to get what you want every time you turn on a sporting event. That would be like going up against a team that has a top three, the best defensive line in the league, and nobody in the whole regular season can run the ball on them. And then you meet them in the Super Bowl and you talking about, well, you know what? We're going to go out here and run the ball on them to win the game. And then you go out there and get beat, 20-7 or something because you couldn't do it. It was no reason in the world to expect Gervonta Davis to sit there and box with a Rolly Romero. So I don't know. I don't understand the criticism. But, like I said, man, people watch boxing and think all kind of weird shit, dumb shit, type all kind of stupid shit, and say it's some funny shit, man. It's some funny shit. Then you got to think, and I just asked a cat on somebody's thread on Instagram who was talking about it was a shit performance by Tank and it was a shit fight. so on and so forth. My first question to the dude was like, did you purchase the fight? I mean, because if you're gonna sit here and say what Tank should have done and how much he should have subjected himself or put himself in harm's way, and then you didn't even pay your $75 or $80, whatever it was, that's how could you go and complain about something and when you didn't even contribute to it? I didn't contribute to it, so I don't care how he won the fight. I already knew he was going. I already knew that he was going to stop. That he was going to stop Rolly. So I had no reason to pay for something that I already knew. I mean, I just bet on myself in that regard. So, but I don't know, man. I'm interested to see what Tank does next. You know, whatever the business situation is coming out of the fight. I know they were back and forth about him leaving Floyd, maybe staying with Floyd. Does he leave Uncle Al? We'll see. I think we got a good fight coming up next weekend. I think we got an excellent matchup coming up next weekend in Kambosos Jr., the unified lightweight champion, and then Devin Haney, the WBC champion. I get excited about boxing for the week. I don't know what the start time is on that one just yet. You know, a lot of suspense going into this fight with the fact that Bill Haney was not able to accompany his son to this point. I think they were trying to get some stuff done on his behalf to get his visa or whatever to get him allowed to enter the country and whatnot. We'll see what happens. The one thing that I saw in that was kind of confusing to me was in reading one of the stories, like Bill Haney elected to fill out like an electronic version or something, and it had some requirements on it, whereas he could have submitted his request in another way, and maybe there was a way for it to have been approved. This all goes back to his drug conviction, which was like 30 years ago or something. But it sounded like he tried to do it one way to get access or be approved to enter the country. It sounded like he did it one way, and it didn't seem like that was the best way to go about trying to do it, knowing that he had this record. So I didn't really understand that, because if this is your son. So why wouldn't you have done the long version or the paper, whatever it was? Why wouldn't you have done the best? Why wouldn't you have Why wouldn't you have tried to go the best route that was going to allow you to be successful in being able to join your son? And now for it to be Yoel Judah, the father of Zab Judah, that's just unfortunate, you know, for this young man to go over there. I think he left like 2 weeks ago, maybe, to go to Australia. But to go over here, you fighting in this, you know, in this man's backyard in front of his country. Everything that George Kambosos does is going to be, you know, exaggerated or over celebrated or whatever. It's going to be a lot of pressure on the judges to, you know, they're going to be influenced by the reactions of the crowd and whatnot. It's a hell of a set of circumstances that young Devin Haney is going up against. And to this point, you know, we just really haven't seen him as as having an eraser. You know, in case the fight does get away from him a little bit, he really hasn't demonstrated that he has that eraser to really, you know, completely get himself out of trouble if that's what happens. I don't know of any other fighter that Judah has been grooming or working with since his son retired. Even while his son was active, it's not like we got a lot of names to look at where Judah led them to some kind of success and whatnot. So it's a shit show, with respect to his corner situation. But, you know, you got to go out here and do what the hell you got to do. And I do think if it just comes down to 12 rounds of boxing, he should be able to, you know, to get 7-5, 8-4. I mean, I think he's the more talented guy. I know some people are going to overreact to the Kambosos Jr. that we saw defeat Lopez, but I'm sorry, you got to do shit for me more than just once. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and now Kambosos is a top 3 lightweight because you caught Teofimo Lopez and his father on some bullshit when they were doing a whole lot of stuff. You got to prove it to me. So I saw the Lee Selby fight. For me, Teofimo Lopez, George Kambosos Jr. is some version, a combination of who I saw against Lee Selby and what I saw happen against Lopez. He's some version of that. But he just not the goods at lightweight for me today. Now, next Saturday night or whatever, if he beats the hell out of Haney, then I guess I was wrong. But I can only go by what I've seen. And that's where I am with it. So that's it, man. You know, everybody that saw the fight last night and have your fun with it. I do think it was a good stoppage. I saw some people pissed off about the stoppage. The clip that I saw, the man said, walk over here, and the man didn't walk over there. And you can't sit here and get a man 3 and 5 seconds to get his shit together before you gotta start the fight again. So I thought when my man didn't see the reaction that you need to see as a referee, in good faith, you can't send that man in there and he doesn't seem to be responsive. And if that messed up the fight, like I said, man, people come out of fights and got a million things to complain about. I thought it was a decent stoppage. Anyway, let me get on out of here, finish this damn yard. Like I said, good fight coming up next week. I really haven't seen what else was on that card, but I mean, I ain't got to pay $80 to see it, so I'm excited. And I think it's a great moment for young Devin Haney. All odds against him, and I hope he steps up to the plate and comes out successful. I really do. Anyway, what was that? Damn. I love seeing him bail out the ring after. I didn't see it, man. I didn't see it, but I heard about that. But Rolly he don't seem to be all there to me. He really doesn't seem to be all there to me. I saw some people making comments about him being on the spectrum related to, I think that's something related to autistic people, and whatnot. Maybe that ain't politically correct and whatnot, but dude definitely has a peculiar way of talking, and but I don't know. I just didn't see it. And Corey, man, I think I'm on episode 5 of Bosch Legacy. I think I'm gonna get into another one here after I finish trimming this yard. But and I'm enjoying it. So anyway, man, yeah, that's Rolly he just wasn't a good boxer. He's not a talented fighter. And I think going back to the Yigit fight, and a couple other fights that I saw him in, all of the elbowing that he does, the framing that he does, he's a brawler. I mean, to me he's pretty reckless, and that's what I was saying. I don't know if you was on here earlier, but that's what I was saying. I would be, when you fight people who, when you go in here and fight some of these sluggers and these brawlers, and guys who do stuff outside of boxing and off script and unexpected shit, that's a chance for you to get severely hurt. We see guys get the rabbit punches, getting punched in the back of the head, or you catch some elbow, to your temple or something, or it's a headbutt, it's a severe injury, something that could change your life forever. And obviously these dudes don't wear helmets. You don't have a face mask on and shit. Like, I don't understand how you go in here and fight a dude like Rolly and not want to eliminate the possibility of him doing anything and it affecting your career after the fight. And I think I thought it was multiple ways that Tank Davis could win that fight. So why would you sit here? That's like in the Civil War or whatever, you know, sitting here 50 yards from one another, and people take a shot, the people kneel down, the people behind them take a shot, and y'all just sit here fighting like that. Nah, we gonna go hide up in these trees and behind structures and rocks and shit. The guerrilla warfare. I'm not gonna sit here while I'm reloading and just let you, and just sit here and hope everybody over there has bad aim. It's boxing. If you're the more superior fighter and boxer, you play to your strengths. Now, Tank did say it on one of the podcasts that I was listening to. Might have been the Up and Smoke podcast. But he said, I'm not always, I'm not a safety first guy, and I'm not that might have been with the Brandon Marshall's podcast. He was like, I'm not a safety first guy, and I'm not, I go in here and get the shit over with. I'm trying to get it over with. But I think Calvin Ford, as your trainer, as being in charge of you, if I can get you to listen to me, look, on this one right here, we ain't got to take those risks. We don't have to take those changes. We don't have to take a lot of punishment in this fight. We can get this bag. We can get this big victory, the highlight reel victory, and we can get out of here with very little trouble if you do what I ask you to do. And that's the type of influence that it's going to be other fights. It's going to be other fights where you might have to go in there and exit the ring and leave some of yourself in the ring, because that's what you had to do to beat that opponent. But for a dude like Rolly, you're not supposed. If you are a talented guy, the way that some people regard or revere Tank Davis, you're not supposed to go in there and get touched up by Rolly Romero just to get your check. You're just not. So anyway, fight down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Enjoy the rest of your day. I got to knock this yard out and then get on this grill for the wife. I hope you're doing some good eating and partying, drinking, leisure shit, all of that. I'm out of here. Thanks for checking in, Corey. We're going to talk about the Commanders, man. I'm out. Peace.